You know, some things get real old. Before I get into what's old, I'll mention that I'm making this video because it's been strongly suggested to me that I use this medium more. And I've been apprehensive to do it, admittedly, but I'm going to try it today and see what happens. But what's getting old is rumors. And I'm really clear on why, have been on the receiving end of rumors, some quite treacherous, all of my career. And I know the faces and names in terms of why they came to be and why the people were invested in doing that. But instead of going into that, I want to talk about one particular rumor that just won't die. And no one ever creates opportunity to directly address it. So all I did is the aftermath of the rumor, which is attitudes and assumptions. But anyway, to contextualize this, recently online, there were people saying all these supportive things about me. And thankfully, that happens often. In this instance, somebody caved in and said, well, he's sexist. I don't like how he deals with feminine people, and he's transphobic. Now, I've heard that before. I mean, I've heard and saw people say that before. And I've asked every time I see it, what are you talking about? Can you be specific? Can you reference a video, something I've written, which I've done tomes of stuff, where you get that perspective from? And they change the topic or just get rude in some cases and nasty, but they never ever have any specifics, which makes it very clear that they're coming from an emotional place. But something occurred recently that I think really embodies this issue and what's happening with people. I went to lunch with a colleague that I met on a TV show who I had never known before, who was interested in talking more with me because he had heard of me before and wanted to connect. I said, sure. So we went to lunch. And during the lunch experience, he said to me, and just for the record, nothing had happened between us. There was no fight, nothing had occurred. He just decided to tell me this. He said, you know, you remind me of the guys that used to beat me up when I was little. You remind me of the guys that used to call me faggots and punks and make my life miserable when I was a kid. And sometimes I feel intimidated by you. And I stayed very calm and I listened because I've heard some similar things before. And when he finished, I said, well, you realize that I've never bullied you, right? He said, yes. You realize that I was not there, nowhere around, nowhere involved at all with you being bullied, and right? He admitted it. I said, now, just for the record, I've never bullied somebody or harassed somebody or put down somebody in my entire life for being feminine or transgendered, because I've been accused of being transphobic as well. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not in a position to be putting people down for being what they are naturally or how they came to be, how they developed. I mean, who am I to do that? So I've never taken it upon myself to put anybody down for being feminine. I have critiqued hyper-masculinity and hyper-femininity and what I think is compensatory behavior that some of us do because we don't know who we are. But in terms of just being feminine alone or transphobic in particular, transsexual in particular, or transgendered, I've never had any kind of negative critique about that. So the guy instantly chimed in and he said, well, you should respect my feelings. You should respect my feelings. And I'm like, well, there's two human beings here. There's one who's being judged by their cover, who's being accused, and in my opinion, dehumanized because of his demeanor and his appearance. And there's one making accusations. So why should I respect being dehumanized and being thrown in a pile of people that bullied you that I have nothing in the world to do with and that I have no relationship to, and that's a behavior that I've never, ever done? But the bottom line is that because I'm so-called masculine and I have the demeanor that I have, in the same gender-loving, particularly the gay identified community, which is full of wounded people, which is full of feminine men, the accusation sticks like glue that, oh, he's feminine, oh, he's sexist, oh, he's transphobic. And there's no interrogation or proof needed. I'm advising people who hear that going forward to ask the accusers for some proof, for some type of example. And if they can't find it, which they won't be able to, that you defy them and challenge them or tell them to stop spreading the rumor because it's not true. And it's ironic when I hear about it because I coined the term femophobic or femophobia in the 80s to critique gender, masculine or hyper-masculine gender expectations and demands that I thought was getting in the way of black men's growth and humanity. And I also started the first black transgender organization, or spearheaded it, in Northern California called SISTI, which stands for Services in Support of Transgender Individuals. Now, I don't go around bragging about my transgender or feminine people support because I'm not into that. I just do what I do because it needs to be done. But I'm tired of that rumor. Some things get old, and that rumor has gotten very, very old, and I'm inviting people to challenge it and do what they can to work with me toward nipping that in the bud, or showing me incidences where it makes sense to have that accusation, and then I'll check myself and discontinue doing whatever that is. But it has to be real, not mythological, delusional, defensive, or because I'm not involved in gay politics. Thank you. I'm glad you listened. And I hope my first video talking about issues does have some resonance with other people. Thank you.